Welcome to episode 194 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
So, Hillary.
Hi. You know, I moved your chair closer to me because there is nothing that annoys me more than seeing, this is what I see on YouTube. I'm like this, and there's this huge gap, and I see Tina over in the corner like this. I just see two eyes and a microphone, and I'm like, what is she doing? She's hiding. Why is she over there? So I moved your seat over, so it looks a little bit better, but I don't know what happpens. It it cuts you off, and I feel terrible. I feel terrible.
I move. I don't know.
God, I feel so bad about it.
Oh, please.
It's like she's like a voice coming from the other side of the wall. Yeah, like, who is that over there? Oh my God. Well, before we say anything, I'm going to say something because this comes out October 4th and tomorrow is Tina's birthday. Now, in true Hillary fashion, like this should have been the day we were celebrating Tina's birthday on the podcast, but we're going to do that.
New York, baby!
We've been very busy, and like this is the third podcast of 5 that we are recording this week. Can you believe this? 2 guest spots and 3 episodes to get ready for New York next weekend.
Yes.
And so we're like, this is a Wednesday night trying to just get stuff done because we have those 2 guest spots, which I want to talk about.
Hopefully you guys had a chance to listen because our first guest spot would have already come out.
Yeah, it comes out September 28th, which is a Thursday.
It would have been last week for you guys listening, and wow.
Yeah, I'm staying up till midnight tonight to listen. I can't wait.
It was so much fun.
We went on a podcast called BFYTW, but it stands for Because Fuck You, That's Why. There are Odd Pods brothers on our Odd Pods network, and we've never been on their show before. And it's set up like a British game show where you have 3 different games and you can play them. And so they did like a political slant on the games. It was so much fucking fun. I had so much fun on that.
Pantless
Aaron.
Brilliant.
So smart.
I mean...
Brilliant. No, like he's like a genius host.
Yes.
This is what happens when I listen to podcasts. I start going, oh fuck, what are we doing? Are we doing something wrong? Should we have like, what, are we smart enough to even host this?
No, but who cares? Who cares?
Anyway,
we have things to say.
Yeah,
okay?
so it was Tina and I versus Augie and Smoke, or
oh
Stevie.
My God.
And so they're the dream team on their podcast, and I'm not going to tell you who won, but you have to listen to see who won the game.
Yes.
But Tina came in clutch with her. There was a part where you had to write a conspiracy theory thing, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't need to do this. Tina's a fucking writer. Like I am just gonna leave this to Tina to do it." Oh, here she goes. No, girl, it was so good. Go listen. But thank you so much to those guys over at Because Fuck You, That's Why. Yeah. Augie and Stevie, or Smoke as we like to call him, and Pantless Aaron. What a fucking joy. We had the best time. And then this Saturday, we are going on Super Media Bros with one of my BFFs, Richie. And we're going to talk about a fucking great movie called...
I watched it.
Did you? I haven't watched it yet. I was going to watch it tonight or tomorrow. I got to watch it tomorrow. It's called...
Get ready,
it's
girl.
FDR, right?
Yeah.
It's called FDR American Badass. So we had been on his podcast before, and we did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killer.
Yes.
Oh my God, what a fucking funny movie that was. I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it was funny.
Oh my God.
So I'm excited to go back on Richie's podcast again.
Oh, Richie's great. So.
Oh, such a great. And like those guys, like that's like when we go to those Odd Pods meeting, I mean, I told you what I get out of it. It's like this camaraderie of like, what are you doing on your show? What are you doing on there? It's like a way to just talk to other podcasters about the ways they're doing things and how we can improve or what can we do better, and it's just I always feel so good, and like there are
good ideas and
they're
just
very great
kind,
podcasts,
very kind
to us. I felt so Aaron wanted this, like it was clear he wanted to compliment us before they hit record, and he's like, I'll save it for the podcast, and I really wasn't sure what he was going to say, but then at the end after the games and we're wrapping up, he said this such a beautiful sentiment about our podcast.
It was lovely.
I was very, very touched, very moved.
Lovely.
Because, I'm like, nobody's listening to this garbage.
What did he call us? The Maidens of Muck?
Mistresses of Muck.
The Mistresses of Muck.
The intro is hot.
I'll take that title.
Oh
the
my God.
Mistress of
It
Muck.
was so good.
So good.
Yeah,
We're
Erin.
stealing that, Erin.
Yeah, it's such a great host. What a great host.
Yeah.
Treasure. It's a treasure. So thank you again for having us on. While we're thanking people, I want to give a shout out because we have a new patron.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see this?
I did.
Katsumi Nino. Please, God, let me know I'm doing that right.
Oh.
Please. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He's been a longtime follower of us on Instagram, and we really appreciate your support. And now you're a patron. You get to hear all of our wasted... I really don't know what we're doing on Patreon. I don't know. Tina's convinced it's the best stuff ever.
You know what? It's funny.
I think it's funny.
It's ridiculous. And who doesn't want to just hang out with us? That's basically what it is. You're hanging
Here's
out
what
with us.
happens on Patreon. Everyone who subscribes gets to hear me humiliate myself every week because I don't know what order the planets are in. That's number one. And then last week she did another trivia question. It was another planet. And I was like, I'm out. Like, I can't do a planet question. I missed that lesson. This is where we need,
like, the Kardashians because they know all the planets, I'm sure.
Well...
And the galaxy.
I mean, is Star Trek, like, accurate? Like, are we talking about... Are they going to ask us questions about Klingons?
I mean, maybe, but
Listen.
They would know about the planets. They have, but by default.
You would hope.
I would hope.
But
clarify.
I feel like we all should know basic things like what order they're in. Like maybe that would be a basic thing we should know. I'm humiliated every week.
Oh no, it's good. It's good.
So yes. So okay, great. So top of the list. Do you have anything you just want me to give you stuff to talk about?
My week was a little cuckoo.
Okay, so let me give you the first one because I know you know about this.
Okay.
The state of Florida expanded their voucher program this session, right? It used to be for a certain income level, you could get a $7,000 voucher, and it was your public school money, and you could put your kid into a private school, and they'll take your voucher money, right? It offsets the tuition of this, okay? But a certain income, disabilities, things like that. Well, this session they expanded to anybody in the world wants to get it. So what happens? The program jumps 40%. Millions and millions of dollars being drained out of public schools to go to this voucher program for people to put their kids in a private school, right? Okay. Well, one of the things that happened is these schools aren't getting their money. Step Up program is like very slow. Yeah. They just started to disperse them because people were like, the school is not getting the tuition. They're going to kick us out. Yeah. What the fuck's going on? And so they finally started to disperse the money this week. Yeah. But it's like a month into school and like probably 2 or 3 payments are due by now. Anyway, so that's the first part. But here's the second part that is so fucking insane.
It is wild.
So one of the things that they passed in the last session is that the state of Florida will not do business with or give money to or anything like that any company that has ties to a foreign entity or a foreign country.
And specifically
China, right? Like how Trump likes to say it. So because apparently China's like our number one enemy. I mean, I thought our number one enemy was white supremacy, to be honest with you. I thought our number one enemy was a president who tried to overthrow the government and might be reelected. But okay, let's go with China. Yeah. So DeSantis, because it's a big coup, you know, the Trump voters love to talk about China. Yeah. So DeSantis, because he's such a fucking turd and like wannabe, has to jump on the China train and passes this thing. Okay, so this week, the state came out and said they're not going to give money to this school called Sagemont Preparatory School. It's in Weston. It's in Weston, in Broward County. And there's a couple in Orlando.
In Orlando, it was like
they're all owned. Yeah, they're all owned by the same business. So I read the whole article about it. Basically,
I mean, I looked it up. And the Sagemont schools are owned, I think it's like out of California, but then like there's a primary...
There's people who give money to this, who are part of the corporation.
Yes.
Are in China.
Yes.
So all of these students, and their students, by the way, the Sagemont school is like $20,000 a year. It's no fucking joke. No. But people with money... can now get these vouchers. Yes. And so they applied, got the vouchers, and they sent them to the school, or they applied for the school, and now the state's saying, we're not giving this school money because they're tied to China.
That's because the state has no money, and this is his little way of like, oh shit, how can we try to save some money and exclude some schools so that we don't have to pay the bill anymore? Yeah. And the other thing that's funny is I was at a meeting recently where someone was talking about Broward County schools, and we haven't really lost many students to the voucher program. that, you know, it really hasn't impacted the public schools that much because a lot of the private schools like jacked up their tuition by conveniently $7,000-$8,000.
Right. To keep out the riffraff.
To keep out the riffraff. And basically a lot of these private schools like reached out to their community saying like, go get this money, go get this money. And so it's people who are already in private school just trying to get additional money so that they don't have to pay for private school. And I mean, I have to say it upsets me a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like you're taking money that you don't need. You're taking state money that you don't need. And it hinders our public schools. Like you want to have your kid in private school, great. But like don't hurt the public schools in the process. Like to me that's like, I don't know.
No, it seems...
It just, I don't like it.
It seems out of line with like what that program was originally for. Which is for underprivileged kids. Right. Kids who are living in like, you know, below means or, you know, disabilities was the other one that was big for that program.
And you know, all of this stems to this attack on our public schools. And our public schools, we have some really good public schools in Broward County. We have the incredible school in Pompano Beach that is amazing, but we have, outside of that school, a lot of our schools have great magnet programs. They have just great facilities. They have programs that you wouldn't even know about because we don't hype up our public schools. And I think that if families like really like knew what was happening in our schools and the caliber of students that we have in these programs, like they would, you know, it's all, I think it's just so much fear.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much fear surrounding everything that I think has caused a lot of people to go to private schools.
And it also doesn't bode well when you hear about books being banned and classes being dropped, like Black history or, you know, psychology, which conveniently went back up.
But like the lockdowns.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't bode well for it.
But that's the state.
I mean, that's
where we need people to stand up and fight against this nut job of a governor that we have.
Yeah. Anyway, thought it was just, you know, the article is really interesting when they talk about this because they talked to the mayor of Weston where this school is located. And, you know, he said it's really sad because it's a political chess game, right? That DeSantis is playing so that he can go back onto the campaign trail tomorrow and say, I'm not giving money to China from Florida, right? It's all a way to have something to talk about, like he's a big tough guy. Meanwhile, there's real people here, like children, who, whether they're from wealthy families or not, are going to be affected by what he's doing, right? This really is, it's a real, you know, all of these things that he does, I really don't know if the legislature or DeSantis actually understand that real people are affected by these things. You know?
All he wants is to be president, and this little ploy, this is not going to bring you any points. Like, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
You are out. Like, you go hang your hat.
Oh my God.
Go put your boots up on the shelf.
It's wild.
You know
it's wild
what I mean?
How bad he's doing.
I was thinking the other day,
I was thinking yesterday actually about how I've been screaming on the podcast he's going to be our next president. Like, I know he's doing bad. I know he's doing bad, but when these primaries start happening, and I know the poll numbers are so high for Trump, so like, how could it possibly be? I just always know that there's a twist.
There's always a twist.
Something happens, and so I don't know. Except I know that if he doesn't get the nomination and he comes back here with his tail between his legs,
we're all in trouble.
We're all in. It's just
it's
going
like
to be
abusive, and it's like an abusive person, you know, going to come back and take all of that out on the citizens of this state.
And also, you know, like if he loses Florida to Trump in a primary, like why would he still stay in the race after that? Like you can't,
he
right?
Probably would though.
Like you can't. You've lost your own state. I just want to briefly mention the impeachment inquiry into Biden. I mean, we could have brought it up on Saturday, but like it's so off of my radar because I know that there's nothing there, and because they've been doing hearings for this for months and months, like a year at least.
They're going to shut down the government.
You know, and that's the other thing, like the negotiating on the budget, which was resolved a couple months ago, and now Matt Gaetz and his Freedom Caucus, because I don't know, Trump's mugshot got shown, is now on a fucking tailspin to have something on Biden that he needs to have this inquiry. There's nothing there.
No.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars. And
people's jobs, again, to go back to your point, that there are real people who are impacted. I saw a story about someone who's been working in a cafeteria for 42 years at the White House. I forget where, but is going to be out of work. It's not going to get paid. These are everyday people who are not going to get paid because you want to have a publicity stunt. And that Lauren Boebert and that Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're all disgusting. I can't understand how anybody is checking the box next to their names or feels any sense of pride that you like or associate with either of those women. Those winos.
Anyway, that's happening, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that if the government shuts down, I hope at the very least the American public can see clearly who's doing it and that it lands on the Republicans. I think another reason they want to shut down the government is they think that in the middle of an election, they'll be able to make a case that it's Biden's fault. And I just don't see any clear way that's going to happen. Just like I don't understand what this inquiry is about. Everything, even if it has anything to do with Biden's son, they indicted him from the Justice Department while Biden was president. They arrested him for this gun charge. Like, he's not getting special treatment as far as I can tell. Even an IRS agent who was on that was like, there's no special treatment here. I was never told anything. No. So
he'll get whatever he deserves.
It's a complete,
unlike the Trump
as he
children.
Should, but as he
unlike
should.
the Trump children.
No, I don't think, oh God. Anyway.
It's all sick.
It's nonsense. P to the S. This, guess what was in the paper this morning?
What?
The family of Lorraine Wheaton, who was killed in this apartment over here when the helicopter crashed.
She was the one who was like sleeping?
Yes.
Oh my God.
By the way, she lived in that apartment with her boyfriend. He would have been killed too, but he had gone to the bathroom. And when he's coming down the hall, sees the plane, the helicopter crash and land on her. Okay? They were in the middle of a press conference the other day, and a helicopter flew over. He started shaking.
Oh my God.
Like, this is not good. Anyway,
this poor man.
Her family is set to file a $50 million lawsuit
rightfully
against Broward Sheriff's Office.
Rightfully, it should be more than that.
You should, and
there's not a price on her life.
All these families have lawyers. Even the paramedics that were the guy that the pilot was flying it. He's got a lawyer. They're all looking into it because apparently one of the lawyers for one of these victims is saying that when they were looking at all the maintenance reports, because the crash report hasn't come out yet of like investigation of like what actually caused it, but they're saying that they had replaced the AC in there like 2 days or 3 days before, and the pilot's saying that when he got in, he could smell a chemical in the AC area, so that possibly could have been it. But we don't have maintenance records to really know.
How do you not? Oh, I can't. I can't.
Wild stuff. It is wild.
Oh,
so
I can't believe that poor man.
Yeah, and Godspeed this family. I really hope that they're able to get everything that they should. And I guess BSO is paid for her funeral as well.
I don't even know if I posthumously.
Did you know we're the third rock from the sun? That's what I know about planets. I told Tina that the only way I know that is because it's from the show.
Oh yeah, which I never saw.
Posthumously, they the guy the other passenger who died in the plane, the Captain Jackson, they posthumously made him like an admiral. So because he was in train, like he had been taking the test to do that, to become like a lieutenant admiral or something. I'm sorry, I don't know the specific details, but I think it also helps with the whatever money like he would get from.
It's terrible.
I don't know. Anyway,
it's terrible. I don't even know if BSO was like, let me pay for the funeral. Like I wouldn't even want them anywhere near me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would be like, I don't want your money. I don't need you to pay for a funeral. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I wouldn't want to even talk to anyone from that office.
Yeah. I'd say pay for the funeral, but I'm not signing any paper that says that's all I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that fucking much.
Ugh.
By the way, I just want to also make it clear that when that 2017 report came out, that was the last investigation that said these helicopters should never leave the ground again. It was Scott Israel who was the sheriff at the time, not Sheriff Tony, even though he's been fighting and trying to get the money and not putting it in his budget. It was Scott Israel who was the sheriff at the time when these planes should have never left the fucking ground again.
I don't understand how, and what, they go before the Broward Commission? and say, hey, we need money. And these commissioners are like, nah, we don't need to sign off on that. I don't understand that.
I know.
I don't understand why you are compromising safety. For what?
Yeah.
Where did the money go? What was more important than safety?
The worst part is like what we say, like, what is the worst that could happen? Well, that it would literally fall out of the ground. I mean, out of the sky. Onto the ground. That's the worst that could happen, and it happened. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Broward College president, we talked about it last week, Greg Hale, he is out. He gave his resignation a couple days later after they were trying to beg him to stay. He said, I'm sorry. He tried to get into his office and his keys didn't work. He couldn't log into his computer, and he's like, I guess I'm not getting the 2 weeks that I asked for or whatever, like in my letter. And so there's all these email exchanges that were printed in the paper between him and the chair of the board of trustees, who was a DeSantis appointee. Whew, she's pleasant. Wow. And basically he was there at the meeting yesterday, and he's out. That's it. He's out. He's not going to be able to finish those 2 weeks.
DeSantis ruining
and also
everything.
Yeah.
Again.
And also he again would not get into details about why he was leaving. I mean,
oh, it's going to come out.
It is, but I just want to say he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. You know, I mean, he's really not come out and said anything crazy. My last thing is, I'm not a Swiftie, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a Swiftie. Like, I like some of her songs. I get it. I'm here. I got it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling if I deep dove into the Taylor Swift catalog, I'd find a lot of songs that were like maybe Phoebe Bridgers' Boy Genius-esque. I probably could find some like Woe Is Me and like Cry My Eyes Out, which is why I love music.
Definitely.
Yeah. But it was a slow news day Monday, honey, because I don't know what happened. I don't even know anything about football or like when it's played. I have no idea.
Yeah, who cares?
Home runs? I don't know.
I don't care.
So Monday I'm on Twitter, and what do you know? Taylor Swift has a new boyfriend, or she's dating someone who is a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. His name's Travis Kelce. I could not have picked him out of a lineup 4 days ago. But now I know everything about this man.
I know.
And how he was in the Super Bowl against his brother who was on the Eagles, who's in the Super Bowl, and the mom had a jersey that had the two jerseys were tight, were like stitched together. Okay. Anyway, Taylor Swift played, so the whole thing went down like this. So Taylor Swift apparently had her show, she was on tour.
Yeah.
And she was in Kansas City and she played at the stadium. He was there and he put something out like, next time, I tried so hard to get backstage, or he's got a podcast. I don't know. Everybody's got a fucking podcast. And he's like, I really tried to get backstage because he wanted to meet her, and he sent her a tweet or something. It was like, next time you should come see me rock the stage at whatever stadium, like Loggerhead Stadium, I don't know what it is, whatever. Arrowhead Stadium. Arrowhead. I know the name of the Kansas City Chiefs stadium. Arrowhead. So I don't know what's going on, but then they show this video, like the NFL has this video of them coming out of the locker room together, like to leave. I'm in this now. Now I'm in this relationship. I want this to work out. By the way, he's 6'5".
That's hot.
I know. I knew when I told you how tall he is, you would think he was cute. And he's got this like, okay, did you watch Euphoria?
I did, but not all
I gotta show you a picture of this kid.
So I heard that she was at one of the games.
Yeah, on Sunday.
And then she snuck out in like a
No, that was a fake video. That was in a popcorn thing.
No, not in the popcorn thing. There was the joke about the popcorn thing, but then it turns out that she may have like really snuck out through like a service tray or something. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Also, by the way, can we just look at this picture of him in his uniform with those?
Oh, he is cute. Aww.
Oh my God, what's this?
Now he's got a girlfriend.
And they look so cute together. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift. But now I'm like, I know, but now I feel like I'm involved in this relationship. Isn't that crazy?
That's social media.
It sucked me in.
It's social media for
this
you.
Motherfucker's got me again. Damn you, social media.
I mean, how dare you? How dare you control our lives?
Oh my God, I'm in it. Well, that's all I have. Now
all right.
All right, you're up.
Are you ready?
Do it. Yes.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story of former Alabama Mayor Robert Bentley.
Okay.
So, Alabama Governor, he was mayor.
Oh, wait.
I'm starting over.
No. Don't start over because you know what? We had 2 other corrections to make, don't we? Like, didn't you? Tina came in and said that she said episode 192 last week when it should have been 193.
Yes.
And then I also said something wrong.
You did?
That I need to make a mea culpa for.
What?
I said when I played that video about Rupert Murdoch dying and Owen Jones, who was on it, I said BBC, but it's actually Sky News, which I should give proper credit for.
Oh, okay.
So leave it. So
All right.
do it.
Okay, I'm gonna start over.
Okay, but we'll leave this part in.
All right.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
BTS of the muck.
So today I'm going to tell you the story of former Alabama Governor Robert Bentley.
Okay.
So Robert Bentley was a self-proclaimed champion of family values.
Oh, I know what's coming.
He upheld his marriage vows for nearly half a century.
What?
But his time in office took a surprising turn as he used his position to conceal a secret, revealing a stark contrast to his public image.
Secret baby?
Not baby, but you know.
That would have been the best.
That would have been the best.
Damn it.
You're on the right track.
Okay.
So our story takes place in Montgomery County, Alabama, around 2017. So before becoming governor, Bentley was a physician. He was a dermatologist. I found this bio that was sort of like governor's bio kind of thing, and that's where I got all this information. And the bio indicated that he was commissioned as a captain in the Air Force during Vietnam. He served as a medical officer. He belonged to the Vietnam Veterans of America and the American Legion. And his bio also made it clear that Bentley was this very pious and church-loving dude. And he also served as a deacon in the First Baptist Church of Tuscaloosa and as a Sunday school teacher. He was part of several boards on the church. He was on the Board of Deacons. He was on the Youth for Christ Advisory Board, the State Board on STDs, and more. And prior to the scandal, as I mentioned, he was married for 50 years. And
wow.
Apparently his mother was the one who taught him the importance of family values, and his bio made a point to say that. So, as far as politics, he was elected to the House back in 2002. So first he was a House rep. And as a Republican, he became known for things like limited government, family values, and being fiscally conservative. So some things that he worked on in his time as a state rep was he wanted to increase organ donation. And as far as hot topic issues, he was anti-abortion, he supported offshore drilling, he opposed gun control measures, he was against the Affordable Care Act at the time. He also supported having a moment in silence in schools, which we know is code for prayer in school. And he also supported teachers spanking students.
Jesus, everything is bad.
Yes.
Everything. There's not one redeeming thing in all of this.
Not one thing. So, and
except
he was
spanking.
and he wasn't mayor. He was a house. I don't know where I got mayor from, but that's not true. It's just governor and the state house. Who cares?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. So the major incident. So
She's stuck on it.
I am because I don't like the.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So my favorite major incidents are the ones that highlight politicians who tout family values and condemn and point the finger at everyone, and then turn out to be a hypocrite. So this guy made my day. So David Graham's article in The Atlantic breaks down a lot of what led to the major incident. And so I got a lot from David Graham, and the article was so good, so thank you. And he notes that when Bentley was running for governor in 2011, he hired this woman, Rebecca Mason. And Rebecca Mason was previously like a newscaster, like a journalist. So she was kind of like known like in the community because her face was like on the news and stuff. But he hired her to run his communications office, which kind of makes sense because she's, you know, a media person.
Yeah.
And she remained, after he won, like she still remained like working for him. And you know, that happens sometimes, like people have you on board and then if they win, they're like, okay, I'll put you this and that and the other. So she's still kind of running communications. And she brought her husband along, and he got a job with Bentley too.
So
what starts to happen is though
is
there are some people close to Bentley that were starting to get a little suspicious about how close Rebecca and he were getting.
Wait, how old are they? Do we know the age difference?
Yes. So at the time, Bentley is like in his 70s. and Rebecca is like early 40s. Okay, Rebecca girl, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking, girl.
Well, here's what happens. He's just so wrinkly and fun to play with. I can't help it. I know he's old, but when he looks at me with those dazzling blue eyes. I keep thinking about Samantha on Sex and the City when she's fucking that old man, and he walks out of the room and you see his ass is all wrinkled and sagging,
and it's a turn up,
and she's like, "Bye."
Yes, gotta go.
By the way, that was the Trump episode. I just want everybody to know that's when Trump was on there. Remember that?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, he was in the bar.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Trump.
Ugh.
Trump.
So, the other person who started to grow suspicious
husband
was Bentley's wife. And
wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's getting close to the husband?
No.
Oh, wait.
So
Bentley's wife. I'm sorry.
Yes. So there's Rebecca and her husband, and then Bentley. Yes. So Bentley's wife, and this girl went all in. She's like, let me find out what's going on.
So she's gonna be in her 70s too.
Yeah, and
she's Nancy Drew, bitch. She knows Nancy Drew books.
She knows Nancy Drew, and she did her own little sting operation.
Yeah.
And she recorded her God-fearing, family values deacon hubby sweet-talking Rebecca.
Ooh!
And here's what she caught him saying.
Oh, God.
When I stand behind you and I put my arms around you and I put my hand on your breasts and I put my hands on you and pull you in real close, hey, I love that too.
Wow.
And she recorded it, right?
Wow.
And then the other thing, because Bentley is 70, he accidentally sent his wife
the Viagra
a text message that was meant for Rebecca. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. I do that sometimes. I'm
and the text message read,
that could get confusing. So
I love you, Rebecca. With a rose emoji.
No! You idiot!
You idiot!
Oh my God!
I mean, they're married 50
by the way,
years. Like, I mean, that's upsetting.
Can I just say something?
Upsetting.
Can I say something else?
It's upsetting.
Dianne Feinstein's 20 years older than him, and she's still surfing.
Oh God!
Okay, he can't send a text message, and she's 20 years older and serving in fucking Congress.
How is this happening?
For one of the largest states in the country.
It's insane. What are we doing? I saw a clip that was like that all of the Senate is on dementia medication and making decisions about all of our lives, and there's like a little old lady going hee 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 hee. I was like, oh my God, that's what's happening.
It's real.
It's real. So according to the article, Rebecca Mason's family, along with Bentley's family, they both tried to have an intervention and intervene and try to stop this affair because
he's governor, right? Like, this is the time he's governor?
Yeah, he's governor.
Oh, my God.
His wife, and again, they belong to this church. He's a deacon.
Oh, my God.
And her family is like, listen, like, you got to stop this. And her family's like, listen, you got to stop this.
Yeah.
And Bentley, at the time, is still denying that there's any affair.
What?
And he's saying that there wasn't anything physical.
Bruh. You put her hand on the breast, and then also I love you, Rebecca. That's not... Oh, man.
But they kept at it despite, like, the family's knowing. So the family knew about it. And then, so this is what kind of emboldens him a bit, because he's like, well, the family knows. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Who cares? Like, it's all out in the open, kind of. I think it's, like, his attitude.
Dude.
So in 2014, Bentley's security guard, this guy, Spencer Collier, he was telling him to break things off because too many people knew about it. And Bentley first was like, okay, I'll break it off, and then he decides not to. And then eventually in 2015, after he wins re-election, his wife of 50 years files for divorce.
Oh, this poor woman.
Yeah.
She's probably out on the campaign trail with him.
Yes.
Oh, what an asshole.
So, it's such a jerk.
It's just so hard to think about.
Right.
Like, governor is like, you are out there. I mean, she's probably going all over the place.
The thing, though, this is 2015. She files for divorce. Everything starts coming up around 2017.
Oh, my God.
So how did things go public, right? Like, the divorce happened.
Yeah.
Kind of people know about it, but like...
And they're in their 70s getting divorced, so...
Yeah. So a few months after his wife files for divorce, Bentley decides to fire that security guard, that Spencer Collier guy.
No!
And he accused him of misusing state funds.
Uh-oh.
And Collier was like,
oh, yeah,
you know what, dude? I'm not going out like that.
Yeah.
So he spills the beans on the affair.
Yes.
The secret tape.
Yes.
And everything. And then the next thing you know, Graham reports that secret tape got leaked like a day or two later. So now everyone's listening to the love tape that the wife recorded like years earlier.
Don't fuck with blue collar people, bro. No. That fucking guy at the trumpet, the Mar-a-Lago, he's flipping. Don't fuck with people thinking you can.
Don't mess with people.
Yeah, no.
So people love a scandal,
Wait,
right?
Before you finish, I know I keep interrupting. This reminds me of the people in Michigan that we talked about they were canoodling in the car with their feet in McDonald's. And remember, it was their staffers who were like, he kept arguing, and the guy's like, I don't think you know. And then he fires him, and he goes right to the press. It was like, here's what's going on.
Yeah, what do you think?
On
They're
the
going to
record.
give you loyalty?
Oh my God. Bro.
So ridiculous. So where Bentley really finds himself in trouble was with how he tried to cover up the affair. So it wasn't so much that it was the affair, but the fact that he allegedly used state funds to hide the relationship, and he also tried to use law enforcement to stop the tapes from coming out. And you can't use your office in that way, right? So now he's doing things that he, like, just let it come out. If everybody knows anyway, and now you're jeopardizing your whole career. So another Atlantic article by Russell Berman notes that Bentley picked the state attorney general. This is interesting. So there was a state attorney general who was supposed to be investigating him. So Jeff Sessions, right, is like taken out, and he needs to be replaced. And so he replaces Jeff Sessions with this attorney general, like, okay, now he's going to be away, and like maybe that investigation. That's what people think. Like, you're just trying to get rid of who's going to investigate you. Yeah. But it didn't work because like the next guy came in and was like, P.S. you're under investigation. Yeah.
P.S. I have no fucking loyalty to you. I don't give a fuck.
So fun.
And by the way, you're very creepy right now.
I mean,
this whole thing is creepy.
So from what I read of the report, like I went through like the actual report that they put together against him, Bentley just seemed to flat out refuse to cooperate in any of the questioning. And they didn't like this attitude toward the committee investigating him. They're like, we're trying to find out what's going on. And he's just like really stonewalling them. He wouldn't give the logs regarding Rebecca Mason's visits to the governor's mansion. You know, that's suspicious. Like he's like just holding back information. They're like, you can't obstruct, right? So when they start investigating, they found that Bentley failed to report $50,000 that his campaign received in November, but he did report it, but not until January. So again, maybe that would have never come up, but because all of this other stuff and they're scrutinizing everything, they're like, oh, well, here's where you made a mistake and here's where you did this, and now they have a case against him.
Bro.
And then they also found out that he was paying $9,000 in Rebecca Mason's legal bills.
What?
Yes.
From that money?
I think from like government money. I don't know. Like, but that was something that was in the report. So you would think because all of this scandal is swirling around that he would immediately step down.
Oh my God.
But according to David Graham's article in The Atlantic, Bentley was holding strong, stating, quote, I do not plan to resign. I have done nothing illegal. All right. And then he also said, if the people want to know if I've misused state resources, the answer is simply no, I have not. So now let's get into the charges because, they did find that he was, having some issue with his campaign finance. So according to CNN's Elliot McLaughlin, Dekin Adone, and Devin Sayers, Bentley ultimately pled guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges dealing with campaign finance. He was facing originally, though, up to 4 felonies. And so he takes this plea deal, and he was also facing impeachment. So instead of being impeached, he takes the deal, and that deal pretty much saves his ass. And in the sentencing, he didn't really serve, he has a mugshot, and I think he spent like a day in jail, but he had to waive all his retirement benefits.
Ooh!
He had to serve 100 community service hours, and he did that in the capacity as a doctor, using his dermatology skills. And he had to pay $50,000 in fines. And then the aftermath, he resigned from office, and part of the deal is that he can never run for public office again.
Yes.
And he had this to say later to the people of Alabama, quote, I have decided it is time for me to step down as governor. I have not always made the right choices. I have not always said the right things. Though I have sometimes failed, I've always tried to live up to the high expectations the people place on the person who holds this esteemed office.
Ugh.
So now he's like, okay, yeah, like
hire.
I've decided.
Yeah.
No, you were about to be impeached.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I better get myself out of this because I don't want to go to jail as a 70-year-old. That's what
You
happened.
know what's so funny when things like this happen too is that you know that every news article was telling the public what the truth was.
Yes.
And then you've got this guy who thinks he can spin his own tale of like what was going on. And does he not, what world are you living in that you think that your idea of like what happened is actually going to work? It's insane.
And honestly, like just cop to the affair and like be done with it. Like none of this would have happened if he would have just admitted to the affair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he didn't do that.
Deny.
So special counsel for the House Judiciary Committee had this to say regarding Bentley. Quote, Robert Bentley, governor of Alabama, directed law enforcement to advance his personal interest over those of the state. In time, and then Jack Sharman, special counsel, House Judiciary Committee, told state lawmakers, in timelines characterized by increasingly desperate conduct, he subjected honest career law enforcement to tasks to protect his reputation, both political and personal. And then after his resignation, the lieutenant governor at the time, Kay Ivey, took over and she became the second female governor ever in the state.
Wow.
Once that happened. And then some other parts of the aftermath, he lost his standing in the church. Pastor McGee of the Tuscaloosa First Baptist Church gave this statement, quote, while church discipline is a church family matter, both Governor Robert Bentley and Mrs. Rebecca Mason are no longer members of First Baptist Church, Tuscaloosa.
Oh my God.
I continue to pray for each of them. And the court records showed that the pastor gave a sermon in front of the entire congregation, of which Bentley and the Masons were in attendance. And it was pretty obvious that the sermon was about them.
What?
And then he called them into his office afterwards.
This is very Christian-like.
And basically kicked them out of the church after they admitted everything. I don't think Mrs. Bentley was asked to leave, though. And Bentley was then removed as deacon, obviously, and a Sunday school teacher. So, like, he lost everything. And then some points of interest.
He got to feel that titty, though.
Oh, he did.
He got to feel that titty.
So, my favorite point of interest is Bentley's nickname throughout the entire scandal. He was known as the Love Gov.
Oh my
Isn't that
God!
gross?
Wait a minute. Didn't they say that? Didn't they call Bill Clinton that too?
Oh, probably.
I think so. I think they did.
Gov.
Oh,
and then another
God.
article, this made me laugh. Another article I read noted that he, at one point, tried to get someone from his security team, and maybe it was that Collier guy that he ended up firing, to break up with Rebecca Mason for him.
Oh, no!
I mean, that's like middle school. That is a middle school move. Like, okay, like, please go tell her we're not dating anymore because he can't do it.
You know,
And then supposedly, Rebecca and her husband have remained together.
You know what's weird is that how do you not think that through? That this girl's working with you. If it doesn't work out, she's working there. If you fire her after, if you want to break up with her and then you fire her, she's going to make it stink. Like there was no thought put into this at all.
So that's it. That's the story of Alabama's Love Gov for Robert Bentley.
Very good.
It was a little short and sweet.
The moral of the story is don't shit where you eat.
No,
basically.
I mean,
keep it together.
You can't do that.
No. You hired her, then you hired her.
No.
Oh my
and you
God.
hired her husband. I mean,
oh my God.
How embarrassing. Make him a cuckold. I mean, God.
I love that word. What is that? Cuckold. Oh my God. Oh. It's one of those times when the word really sounds like the act is.
Yeah.
Like it sounds dirty and like bad. You know, it sounds really awful. Oh my God.
That poor dude. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Oh God,
and then this wife of 50 years, they had a beautiful family.
Oh God.
You know, and now she's like in her 70s, she's got to divorce someone.
Oh my God.
In her twilight years.
God bless.
That's
God
not right.
bless.
It's
No,
not
no,
right.
It's not right. It's
Not right. It's gross. So that's it. That's all. That's all I have. That's all she wrote.
Very good. I liked it. Oh.
Okay, well, we're gonna go because we have so much recording this week.
Yeah. Okay.